Some stories are told during the day. The ones you'll never forget are told after midnight. Welcome to Tales After Midnight. If anyone finds this, my name is Jake. I'm a truck driver. Or, I was. Rain hammered the windshield so hard it sounded like gravel hitting glass. I leaned forward over the steering wheel of my rig, squinting through the wipers as they struggled to keep up. The blades scraped back and forth in a tired rhythm, barely clearing the sheets of water before the next wave slammed into them. The cab smelled like stale coffee and cigarettes. I'd been chain smoking for the last hour. One after another. The ashtray was overflowing and the bitter taste of cheap truck stop coffee sat heavy in my mouth. The dashboard clock glowed in the darkness. Too late. Later than I'd planned. Later than my wife expected. She had called earlier that night while I was still 2 states away. The conversation hadn't gone well. The CB radio crackled suddenly beside me. A burst of static filled the cab. I glanced at it out of habit. Sometimes you hear chatter late at night. Other drivers talking about road conditions, accidents, speed traps. But this wasn't chatter. Just static. A long, dragging hiss. Then for a split second, I thought I heard something in it. My name. Jake. I frowned and turned the knob slightly. More static. I leaned closer, listening. Nothing. Just the endless hiss of radio noise. I shook my head and leaned back in the seat. Too tired. That's all it was. When you've been driving long enough, your brain starts playing tricks on you. The rain got worse. Lightning flashed somewhere far ahead, illuminating the highway for just a second before darkness swallowed it again. I needed sleep. Bad. But there was nowhere to pull over. No rest stops. No truck stops. No safe shoulders wide enough for a rig my size. Just miles of empty highway and black woods on both sides. My eyelids felt heavy. I rolled down the window slightly and lit another cigarette, letting the cold rain air blast into the cab. The CB radio crackled again. Louder this time. I glanced at it. Job. The sound cut out instantly. Just static again. I stared at the radio for a moment longer than I should have. Then I muttered to myself. Yeah. I need sleep. Another flash of lightning lit up the road ahead. That's when I saw it. A faint glow in the distance. Neon. A gas station. The sign flickered weakly through the rain like it was fighting to stay alive. Relief washed over me. Finally. I slowed the rig and eased it off the highway, tires hissing across the wet pavement as I pulled into the lot. The gas station looked old. Really old. 2 pumps sat under a metal canopy that rattled in the wind. One overhead light flickered like it was about to burn out. An open sign buzzed in the window. But the place felt empty. No cars. No other trucks. No lights except the ones barely hanging on. I parked the rig along the edge of the lot and killed the engine. The sudden silence felt strange after hours of diesel rumble. Rain pounded against the roof of the cab. For a moment I just sat there, staring at the building through the windshield. Something about the place felt off. But I was too tired to care. I grabbed my jacket and stepped out into the rain. The cold air hit me immediately. Water soaked into my boots as I crossed the cracked pavement toward the door. That's when I heard it. Music. Faint. Tinny. Coming from a small speaker mounted above the gas pumps. One of those old outdoor radios some stations play for customers. The signal was terrible. The song kept cutting in and out through static. I paused under the canopy, listening. The music faded. Static filled the air. Then for just a moment, I thought I heard a voice mixed into the distortion. Jake. I froze. Rain dripped from the brim of my hat. The radio crackled again. Then the music returned like nothing had happened. I stared up at the speaker for a few seconds. Then laughed quietly to myself. You're losing it, I muttered. Too many hours on the road. Too little sleep. That's all it was. I pushed the gas station door open. A small bell above the frame rang as I stepped inside. The sound echoed through the empty store. Inside smelled like dust, old coffee, and something faintly metallic. The lights flickered overhead. Not completely off. Just unstable. Like they couldn't decide whether to stay on or die. Hello. I called out. My voice sounded too loud in the quiet store. No answer. The shelves were half empty. A coffee machine sat on the counter. The pot was still half full. Steam no longer rose from it, but when I placed my hand near the glass it still felt warm. Someone had been here not long ago. The bell above the door rattled slightly as wind pushed against it from outside. The storm was getting worse. Thunder rolled across the sky. I turned toward the counter. Hello. Still nothing. Then, something shifted behind the counter. A small sound. Like someone moving their weight. I leaned forward slightly. Hey, I called out. You working tonight? Silence. Then the lights flickered harder. The store dimmed. Brightened. Dimmed again. And in that brief moment of darkness, I felt it. That strange feeling. The one you get when you suddenly realize you are not alone. I slowly turned toward the door. And that's when I saw it. A shadow standing between me and the exit. Not moving. Just watching. The lightning flashed outside the windows. For a split second the entire store lit up. And the shadow was still there. Exactly where it had been before. Except now. It looked closer. The lightning faded and the store fell back into dim yellow light. His shadow was still there. Standing between me and the door. For a few seconds I didn't move. My brain tried to convince me it was just a trick of the light, maybe a display rack, maybe a reflection from the storm outside. But it wasn't. The shape was wrong. Too tall. Too still. My heartbeat started to pick up. Hey, I called out cautiously. If this is some kind of joke, it ain't funny. The figure didn't respond. Another flicker from the overhead light sent the store into darkness for half a second. When the lights came back on, the shadow was closer. Not by much. Just enough that I noticed. A chill crawled up the back of my neck. I glanced quickly toward the counter again. Look, man, I said, raising my voice. I'm just trying to grab some coffee and get back on the road. Nothing. The rain hammered the windows harder now. Wind rattled the glass. The little radio outside above the pumps crackled again through the walls. Static. Then music. Then static again. And buried deep inside the noise. Jake. I froze. I slowly turned my head toward the door again. The shadow hadn't moved. At least, I didn't think it had. My mind raced. Maybe someone was standing there and the light was just hitting them wrong. Maybe the storm had knocked the power out and had everything looking strange. I took a slow step toward the exit. The floor creaked under my boot. The shadow stayed perfectly still. Another step. The lights flickered again. Darkness swallowed the store. My chest tightened. Then the lights came back. The shadow was closer now. Much closer. Close enough that I could see the outline of shoulders. Arms. A head. But still no face. Just darkness. My throat went dry. "Okay," I whispered. "Okay, that's enough." I took another step toward the door. The figure didn't move. But something behind me did. A soft sound. Like fingers dragging across the countertop. I spun around. The counter was empty. The coffee machine sat exactly where it had been before. But the glass pot that had been half full earlier was now empty. The coffee inside it was gone. My skin prickled. I slowly turned back toward the door. The shadow was only a few feet away now. And I swear to God it hadn't taken a single step. Lightning exploded outside. For a fraction of a second the entire gas station lit up white. And I saw it clearly. The thing standing in front of me wasn't casting a shadow. It was the shadow. A shape darker than the darkness around it. Like a hole in the world. The lights went out again. This time they stayed out. The store fell into total darkness. My breathing sounded loud in my ears. Then I felt it. Something cold brush against my shoulder. I shouted and stumbled backward. My foot slipped on the tile and I slammed into the display rack behind me. Candy bars spilled across the floor. My heart pounded like a jackhammer. "Stay back." I shouted into the darkness. "Stay the hell away from me." The storm roared outside. Thunder shook the building. And then I heard footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Coming toward me. One step. Then another. I backed away blindly across the store. My boot caught something. A old dirty mop. Before I could catch myself my foot tangled in the handle and I went down hard. My head cracked against the tile floor. Pain exploded behind my eyes. The thing leaned over me. I could feel its presence like ice crawling across my skin. "No," I whispered weakly. "No, stay away." The darkness swallowed everything. I jerked awake with a gasp. Rain hammered the windshield. The cab rocked in the wind. For a second, I didn't know where I was. Then it hit me. Steering wheel in my hands. Dashboard glowing. Engine humming. I was still driving. "Jesus," I muttered. My chest heaved as I looked around. No gas station. No shadow. Just rain. Just darkness. I must have dozed off. A nightmare. That's all. I wiped the sweat from my forehead and leaned forward, focusing on the road. I needed to pull over. Now. Driving like this gets people killed. Up ahead, through the rain, I saw lights. Neon. A gas station. My stomach tightened. It looked exactly like the one from my dream. Same canopy. Same flickering sign. Same lonely building off the highway. But this one was open. Lights on. Pumps running. Rain shimmering across the glass. Perfect. I slowed down, already planning it out. Park, coffee, maybe sleep in the cab. Just enough to clear my head. Then I saw it. Standing near the pumps. Still. Watching the road. Watching me. At first, I thought it was just a guy. But something felt off. Too still. Too aware. Lightning split the sky. For a split second, the whole station lit up. And I saw its face. Smiling. Too wide. Stretched ear to ear in a way no human should. Then darkness swallowed it again. My grip tightened on the wheel. It didn't move. Didn't wave. Didn't look away. Just stood there, watching. The entrance came up fast. My blinker clicked on automatically. But something in me locked up. The canopy light flickered once. And came back on. It was still there. Still staring. The CB radio crackled. Static filled the cab. I quickly shut it off. I didn't turn. I didn't slow down. I drove. Straight past the entrance. My blinker kept clicking for a second before I shut it off. I kept my eyes locked on the road ahead, hands tight on the wheel. I wanted to check the mirrors. Every instinct I had was screaming to look. But something deeper, something colder, told me not to. Like I already knew what I'd see. Like if I looked, it would still be there. Standing under those lights. Watching me. Or worse. Not standing there anymore. I swallowed hard. And kept driving. The rain never let up. Miles passed. Maybe minutes. Maybe longer. I don't know. Didn't slow down. Didn't stop. I just drove. And I never looked back. Next thing I remember was the sound of metal screaming. Glass shattering. The world flipping end over end. And then nothing. If anyone finds this, my name is Jake. I'm a truck driver. Or I was. I don't have much time. I should have stopped. Back at that gas station, I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought if I just kept driving, I'd be fine. I was wrong. I must have fallen asleep. Next thing I knew, I was going over the edge. The truck rolled. I don't even know how far. When I woke up, everything was quiet. No road. No lights. Just rain. My legs are pinned. I can't move. My phone's gone. Not that it would matter. There's no signal out here anyway. The only thing I could reach was this notebook. So I'm writing this. So someone knows. So someone understands why I didn't stop. The windshield is shattered. And through it, I can see it. Standing out there. In the rain. Watching me. It hasn't stopped smiling. It's closer now. Closer than it was before. I don't think it followed me. I think it was always going to be here. Waiting. It just took its time. It's getting closer now. If you're reading this, don't stop. No matter what you see. Don't. The night is quiet again. But some stories never truly end. If you thought this tale was chilling, there's more waiting for you after midnight. Don't forget to subscribe. And turn on the notifications, so you won't miss the next story that will haunt your dreams. Until next time, keep the lights on.